Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here on the Hagenstedt map. Let's get back to reliving the glory days. I am enjoying the baler. I am liking the baler. I never personally drove a Heston baler, as I've said before, but I've seen enough of them working in fields. I know what they're like. Huge, great big things. They go bouncing off down the fields, and the ones that I see were like how I've got it here with a massive great big balloon tire. I've seen other balers with tandem axles, but I never seen a Heston baler with a tandem axle. I only ever seen them with single axle and these massive great big balloon tires. Now I don't know if that was how they all used to be 20 years ago when I was doing this job, or if it just happened to be that the two, I think maybe three Heston balers that were operating in the region that I was working in, that just happened to be what they had. I don't really know. It could be either, to be honest. But yeah, whichever. I don't really know what the reason was. I just remember them having some of the biggest tires I'd ever seen that weren't on the actual tractor itself or a combine. You know, most... You know, the really big tractors, you get used to seeing some of them have got some huge, great big wheels on them. And combines, you expect them to have massive, great big wheels. But most other machinery, the wheels aren't, you know, all that enormous. But the Heston balers, they were huge. And they were balloon tires as well. So like the amount of actual tire compared to the center bit was very disproportionate compared to any other machine that I'd seen working, which made it all the more impressive. It really did. And there's that field finished up. Like that. I'm actually going to go this way and head up the road just because I want to pick up the little lump down here. And also I want to start where the combine's starting, because it makes it a little bit easier for following the rows all the way around. So if we go racing down here, we can pick up that massive great big chunk of straw that we left behind there, and then we can head up this way, and by starting in the same place that the combine started, it should make our lives just a teensy bit easier. One up here, and away we go. Now the 34 kilometers an hour across the field, even 20 years ago, like the Heston balers, I was always impressed with the sheer speed that they could go across the field. Like, I asked one of the drivers once what sort of speed he went, and he basically just said, as fast as I can, mate. Just as fast as I can. He said, if my head is hitting the roof, I'm going too fast. And me, I had to really be careful. I had an old class quadrant 1200 baler that I was using, and I had to be very, very careful about the speed that I went across the field, because if I went too fast, I broke shear bolts. The model that came after the baler that I was using had a slip clutch on it, and that was amazing. You could push the baler a bit harder then, and the slip clutch would engage. If you went a bit too hard, everything would slide, and then you just back up and re-engage it. You didn't have to get out and put a replace a shear pin. I hated replacing shear pins. Really, really hated it. It was such a horrible job to have to do. It's all dusty, and yeah, it didn't matter how hard you tried, you always end up getting covered in dust. And the dust from straw, when it settles onto you, if you're sweating, it's really like it. Well, some people don't seem to be worried by it. Like, I'd work with some people who just get covered in dust and wouldn't care. Me, it would make me itch all over. It was horrible stuff. I hated it. So I was always very careful to try and avoid breaking shear bolts, so I didn't have to get out and replace a shear pin. So I was a bit paranoid about it, because it would mean I'd be really uncomfortable for the rest of the day. Driving a baler with a slip clutch, oh, so amazing. The baler was better designed as well for the next round, which meant that you could go faster anyway. But this guy said he breaks a shear pin maybe once a week. And that's, if that. He said it's more like once a fortnight. And he said it's not because of anything in particular that he's doing, unless he, you know, you might dip the clutch when he comes up to a really big lump of straw that the combine has left. And he said if the straw is damp and he goes hammering through it, then that might be enough to break a shear bolt, shear pin on the baler. That might have been enough to break a shear pin if the straw was a bit damp and he went hammering into a huge, great big lump like that. Me, I get to those lumps and I'd have to inch through them really carefully or I break a shear bolt. And even just inching through them really carefully, it'd still break shear pins. I used to hate the big lumps. If we'd had rain previously, even though it would be turned and it would be sort of left to dry for several days, or even if we hadn't, if it had been on the ground for several days, it could have just gotten a bit damp. And those big lumps generally would end up... if I was going to break a shear pin somewhere, it would be on one of the big lumps, because it would just sort of grab a big clump of it, and it would suck it into the baler, and then bang, goes a shear pin. And yeah, that used to really annoy me, that did. So, if they'd been combining at night when it was really damp, and they were pushing to go as fast as they could, the combine would keep getting a little bit stuck, and so they'd be forever forward and back with the combine, which means you'd have a field full of these lumps. And that's a really good way to get the man on the baler to swear about the skills of the man driving the combine. Not saying that I would do something like that. I'm just saying that that could happen. It's just something, just putting out there that there's something that could sometimes happen. If these things were, if the driver of the baler was not feeling particularly charitable, because he'd had to get out and change a shear pin for the 17th time that day. So the guy on the Hagenstedt baler, he said, no, you just go as fast as you possibly can. Because it's such a huge, great big chamber on the bale, your biggest problem was stuffing the stuff in there. Like, he said that was the biggest problem. If the stuff was too thin on the ground, it wouldn't make very tight bales. The bales would end up not being all that great. So, for a Hagenstedt baler, you wanted a nice thick crop, and you'd still go pedal to the metal with all the time. And I really wanted to try driving a Hagenstedt baler and not to have to worry about shear pins. That was kind of my dream. Was like this guy gets to whiz up and down the fields, just following those lines of straw without a care in the world, and he doesn't have to worry about shear pins. What must that be like? That must be such a liberating experience to be able to go and do that. I never got to do that, but he did. And I was always envious of the man that got to do that. But yeah, so, I mean, I did kind of get to experience that later on when I got the class baler with the slip clutch on it. That was quite cool. But yeah, it wasn't like, you still couldn't go absolutely as fast as you wanted to. You still had to drive within a reasonable speed. But the Hagenstedt baler, I mean, maybe it's different for other places. Maybe the area that we were in had a slightly thinner crop or something like that. I don't know. There's 101 different reasons why you would be able to drive like that. But yeah, he really did go this kind of speed across the field. It's not necessarily a bad, an inaccurate representation of real life. What we're doing right here, this whizzing across the field like this, you can go at quite a speed with these big balers. Possibly not 30k across the field, but I'll be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if you could actually do 30 to 35k across the field with the big baler. So long as your tractor can do it, and so long as you're not bouncing through the roof of the cab. It should theoretically be quite possible to go and do. And we're starting to get a few bales here. What have we got in that one over there? It's 3, 6. We've got 8 bales over there. We've already dumped 3 bales in this field. So that's going to be trailer load number 2 by the time we finish this field, I would guess. And then we've got the big field. Thinking the 40,000 litres might be what we do actually want to do. I mean, I did go and look. I haven't... I mean, I took a quick look at the variable bale capacity mod just to see how easy it would be to change it, and I'm pretty sure it's just a question of adding in an extra value. So I can do it, test it, but... yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue for us to do that, actually. And it does look like it would be beneficial for us to alter that to the 40,000. Because, I mean, we're still going to be getting more than a lorry load of bales. And that was kind of the thing, is I wanted at least a lorry load or two, a trailer load or two of bales, so that we can move them around and we can do what we need to do with them. Yeah, I reckon that the 40,000 might be the way forward. Excuse me. Right. We will see, though. We will see. We'll just do it like this for now, and then we'll reconsider afterwards. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish doing this field right here. We'll bale this one up now. And then we're going to go and get the combine. We'll empty it out into the truck and then move that one off out of the way so that we don't need to worry about that one blocking anything up. And then going to do next. We'll only have the big field left to bale. We could go and get the We'll get a seed drill onto one of the tractors, and we will start doing some planting. We'll get the planting started, start getting the oats in the ground, and I guess then if we get one of them going with planting, we can then go and get started on baling the big fields. And also, well, we're also going to want to clear these. So in order to be able to clear these, if we go and get one of the trailers, one of the tractors with a seed drill, and get that started, we can then go and start clearing out the rest of the straw that is in storage so that we can sell those 2 storage buildings. That, I think, would be the next thing that we want to do. Clearing the 2 storage buildings means that then we can go... Ooh. Should we take... I mean, because we can either put all of the straw that's there in storage and we can dump it straight into the mixed feeder, just run it across the yard, or we can dump it on the ground and we can bale it up. So let's leave you there a second. And leave you where you are. Let's go to this one. Weirdly, he went all the way back over here to get this little tiny bit and then decided he didn't want to do all of that little tiny bit after all because it was too much hard work. And we did slightly get past the full tank on here. We had 52% on it before, so we had about 4% extra in here. So I'll dump that lot in there. And then I want to go and have a look in here, and I'm going to see how the barley price is right now. So we've got 1,016 as a top price. Best price I've seen for barley is 1,258. Port is coming up. These two here aren't changing. 1,028 means that we're 120. So we want 1,100. So we're not seeing a particularly good price at the moment. 1,100 is the price that we're looking for. That one's done. Put you over here like this. Fold the header. That one out like that. I'll lower it down. Unfold that one and then start folding up the combine like that. There we go. I like the twin tracks on this one. I do. I'm really starting to love these twin tracks. I think they look really cool. So put that one onto there, and then you can go straight off the side here. I'm actually just going to drive you straight back and put you away right now. I suppose we could repair it first. And I've also got the corn header that's sat over there, so we'll grab that one at the same time. So we'll swing round. We'll do this in a double circle. So we'll come over here like this. And go to that point right there, which should allow us to cover both of these items. We go there, Repair that one, yes, and that one, yes. Jump back into here. And go up this way. And get that one hooked on. And then swing on round again. So the corn header can be left in the shed. The other header will stay on the back of the combine. Just bring you in like that. There. So that one's going to drop down there and stay there. Actually, I'm going to have to come back further than that. For some reason this one doesn't turn quite as sharp. It's because of the twin tracks. It actually seems to make the thing slide sideways ever so slightly. Slightly less control over it. Oh, I know what it is. Instead of the pivot being in the middle of the outside track, well, like the one track, the pivot is on the side of that track. None of that sort of slides backwards, so the pivot is moved out, which means that the turn circle for the combine is increased by putting that track on there. It's quite an interesting thing to have happened. Okay, let's drop that one down. And because I'm only doing one layer of fertilizer on this crop, just as it's kind of a test. I know I said that I was also going to ask everybody as well, and I do stand by that. I do think that I should be asking everybody, and I kind of plan to eventually go with what if you all say that I should still be doing 2 lots of fertilizer, then I will go back to doing that. But this time round for the oats is going to be a test, just to kind of see what it's like. So we'll take you out, and you can just get started in field 13 out over this way. And then once you've gotten started in field 13, let's go here, shall we? In round there. I'm just going to get started right in the corner of field 13. I'm not going to bother manually going around the edges. I'm going to squeeze in through there like that. Excellent driving there on my part. I didn't actually hit anyone. I mean, the fact that they had to brake hard in order to make sure that I didn't hit anyone is neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, no one was injured. That's the bit that we need. That's the takeaway from this, is that no one was injured. Okay, we don't need to worry about any of the other minor details. We don't need to be pointing the finger of blame. No one was injured. That's all that matters. So you go whizzing across the field there like that. This one, we're going to drive over to the cattle yard. And we will start emptying out the straw that's over there. And I'm going to put it onto the ground, and I'm going to bale it up. And then once I've done that, we'll then go back down to the big field. I mean, yes, I could go and do the big field first, and then come up here, but I don't want to for reasons. Mainly because I want to clear these 2 buildings out of the way, and then I can use the lorry to stack the bales up there, neat and tidy out of the way. So be able to do it like that. So we're going to bring you up to there like that, and then I can go to you. And I fold this one up. There's a little bit of grass left behind there, but we'll ignore that as well. So that one folds up like that, and the hooks go over it. Actually, the hooks are animated. Just realised. So I think they are. Have a look under here. There. Yep. The hooks are animated. That is really cool. And if we could just bring it out onto the side, we might actually see the hook unhook. That is actually really cool. Those hooks are animated. And that rope would be up into the cab. So you just do that from the cab. You wouldn't need to worry about that anywhere else. So the turner we will keep. The rake over there, that one we're going to be selling very soon. And then we're going to be getting the Krone Swadro back here instead. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm just moving this one out of the way so that we don't have to worry about it. So you can go right there, and then you can stop. And we will go to, excuse me, we'll go to this one. I've got 720,000 litres of straw in there already. And we'll go and get another 250,000 litres of straw out of our storage. I'm thinking we just dump it on the ground. So first up, we'll go into this storage and we'll see if we've got anything in here. Don't think they both link together. That's chaff, straw, 438,000 right there. I actually realised that from this fill-up point, it does fill the machine properly. Like some of them, they don't. You just have a fill point, but it's kind of a generic fill point, so you don't get this targeted pile of content, of material that comes into the trailer that you're filling. Whereas this one, it does. So we have that actual whole area thing. I shared recently on my Facebook page the new icons list for FS22, and I knew that they were bringing grapes into the game. I knew grapes were a thing. What I didn't know was that not only are grapes a thing, but there's also going to be olives, which will be picked, I'm assuming, by the same picker that does the grapes. There's also a new standard crop, which is going to be sorghum, which I'm assuming is done with the same header as normal. This is a lot of straw going on the ground. There's going to be 2 passes minimum with the baler. Look at all this. Probably shouldn't have put it right next to my field of hay. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I didn't think this through. How fast can I go and tip? Can we turn it into a windrow? Not really. Well, it is technically a windrow. It's just a very, very big windrow. So, yeah, we got sorghum. We've got grapes. We've got olives for new crops. But there's a load of other icons there that indicate a load of other new crops coming in as well. And we have got things that there was the mixed feeds, but then there was another one. There was a forage type feed. Concentrate is another one that was going in there. Stones, because we've got stone pickers that go across the fields. That was another one. So there's quite a few different things that have been added to the game. And they all, I mean, there's a lot of them look really interesting. So I don't know what a lot of them are just yet. Or, well, we can see in theory what they are, but we don't know exactly what they're all going to be used for. Now, I'm just going to come along here. I'm going to sort of squeeze in. I'm going to be careful doing this, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to be gathering up loads of the hay. So I'm just going to sort of come through this quite carefully. But we're going to get 12 bales out of this straw, aren't we? 240,000. 12 bales coming up. I'm going to try and take as much as I can of all of the long bit of the windrow down through here. We should just be able to go back through and gather up all the rest of it. At least in theory. That's a lot of bales right there. Okay, this looks actually really cool. This is going to be a good screenshot. I reckon we could have that as the screenshot right there. Maybe if we sort of... No, we'll do it like that. I think that looks pretty good. Big old windrow right there. Alright, we'll go back through now and we will get the rest of this windrow, which is actually quite easy. So now I want to stay sort of fairly well over here so that I'm away from that hay. I don't want to be gathering any of that up. So get all the rest of this bit along the bottom end. And then I've just got that thick line there to run down through. And that's the bit that I don't think I'm going to get all of it. I can go right up on the side of it here with the tractor. That'll push quite a bit through. Nicely done. And I've filled up the forage wagon over there, so I've got quite a bit in that one. Let me just stop this baler a second before we spin round. And then, so I've got 3 more bales down along there. Start the baler up again. And just keep it tight on this side. Shouldn't get to the hay. Ideal. Right. Stop that one there. Let's just have a look and see how much straw we've just picked up with this one. So I got 198,000 litres in there. I'm now going to go round in a loop and see what's in the other shed, because they were separate. So is it separate at the moment? Let's have a look in here. Straw, that's empty. Okay, so they're not separate. They were combined together, which means that I could actually just dump... actually, you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to see what happens if I dump all of this in one great big heap. No. Tell a lie. I won't do that. I will go take it over here. We will go that way. Straw is about half. So I'm going to tip what I can into the cows, and then I'll put the rest into the mixed feeder, because it's going to save us having to do it later. Although I could just put the bales straight in. If I drive past with bales, it will just go straight in there, so I don't actually need to worry about it. Let's bring this back. We might take one of those trailer loads and just put them... Actually, I'm going to bring you back over there. We don't want to be driving up over the corner of the trough and completely destroy this poor thing here. I'll go and do that. So I'll bring you back over there, and then I can tip that out. How much are we going to have? Is that it? 111,000 litres of straw we've got in there. So the rest we'll bring on round, and I'll put the 160,000 litres that's left right in here. And the first trailer load of straw. So I want to tip that one out first, and then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go into... Actually, I want to go to the garage. I'm going to go up through here, because we want to sell the two storage areas that we got. This one, the farm silo. 27,300, that's the first one. Sell. That's going to be that one. Yep. Okay. That one as well. Yep. Okay. They're both gone, so I'll come out of there now, and then I'm going to have a look in here, into our storage. We didn't have anything in storage anyway, so it's not really any kind of an issue. But now we've got 0 storage for those, whereas we did previously. So that bit's gone. I'll now bring this one over here, and it's just kind of moved down out of the way a bit. Although, you know, I don't want to leave it here, do I? If we're going to move this one out of the way, we want to take this one off round the corner, because we're going to want that lorry over there. The one that's currently loaded, that full load, I'm going to bring that over here to these bales, to this area, and we're going to put it there. So this one can just park here for a bit, because we're actually going to use that for a while. Yeah, I need to move you out of the way as well. The reason I was leaving it there was because I was thinking whether or not to push these bales out, and I will. So I can go... We need to pick up the front of that one, and we'll push these two bales out. So we've got 2 more bales to come out on the ground here, and they're bales that can stay over this side. So now I need to run down to the big field, which is going to be down there. But before I go rushing off, I want to go to this one. And the first complete trailer load, I'm going to put all of this in here. So I've got 20 bales on here, which is 400,000 litres of straw. And that's all going to go in over here. So bring that in around that way. Now, in theory, I should just be able to drive straight across there. 400,000 litres of straw, which is going to put that up to 1.28. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.